Donald Trump is losing one of his closest allies, his daughter Ivanka Trump. After years of standing by his side through business ventures, campaigns, and a turbulent presidency, she's stepping away from the political spotlight for good. In January 2021, for the first time since she was 23, Ivanka packed her bags, left Washington, and walked away from her role in her father's orbit. And she hasn't looked back. In a rare public statement in 2022, she made her feelings clear. "I love my father very much. This time around, I am choosing to prioritize my young children and the private life we are creating as a family. I do not plan to be involved in politics." Since then, Ivanka, her husband Jared Kushner, and their 3 kids have been living in Miami, Florida, trying to stay out of the public eye. But let's be real, when you're part of the Trump family, private life only goes so far. Now, this is a big shift for someone who was once one of Donald Trump's closest advisors. During her time in the White House, she took on issues like paid family leave and the child tax credit, which she helped turn into Republican talking points. But while her portfolio was tailored to less controversial causes, she still faced intense backlash. Some blamed her for decisions she had no real control over, and others criticized her for staying silent on hot-button issues. And then there was the personal cost. Ivanka lost friends in her New York social circle and faced scrutiny over her clothing brand, which she eventually shut down because of ethical questions about mixing business and politics. Fast forward to now, and she's charting a totally new course. These days, Ivanka's priorities are her kids, her husband, and her own peace of mind. She told Lex Fridman in a podcast this year, "Politics it's a pretty dark world. There's a lot of darkness, a lot of negativity, and it's just really at odds with what feels good for me as a human being. So for me and my family, it feels right to not participate." But here's the twist. Just because Ivanka's out of the spotlight doesn't mean she's out of the game. Sources say she still talks to her dad regularly and offers advice, just behind the scenes now. Don't expect public speeches or West Wing meetings this time around. And Jared Kushner? He's also taking a step back from formal politics, but he's still a key player when it comes to Middle East diplomacy. Plus, he's got business interests in the region, so don't think he's sitting idle. Fun fact, Jared's dad, Charles Kushner, has even been tapped as the US ambassador to France. Talk about keeping it in the family. But back to Ivanka. Losing her mother, Ivanka Trump, in 2022 was a deeply emotional moment for her. She's also been caring for her grandmother, who lives with her in Miami. Add in her husband's health struggles. Jared underwent 2 surgeries for thyroid cancer, and you can see why she's embracing this new chapter. Friends describe her as more grounded and at peace, fully focused on her family. She's thrown herself into new hobbies: surfing, jiu-jitsu, horseback riding, and even motocross biking. It's a far cry from campaign rallies and policy meetings, but it seems to be exactly what she needs. So, with Ivanka stepping away from politics, she's clearly embracing a new chapter focused on family and personal happiness. But one thing that hasn't changed, her rock-solid relationship with Jared Kushner. Let's dive into their story and see how they've built a life full of love, family, and success. Before they became involved in politics during Donald's presidency, Ivanka and Jared were successful in their own right.
The amount of work that we've accomplished in a very short period of time is just remarkable. And that's where our focus is. That's where our priorities.
Ivanka started out as a model before heading off to the University of Pennsylvania and later joining her dad's company. You might also remember her from The Apprentice, where she showed off her business chops as one of the judges. Plus, she even launched her own design brand. What a Renaissance woman.
My father very famously said, if you're going to dream anyway, you might as well dream big.
As for Jared, he's a New Jersey native who became a real estate mogul and the publisher of the New York Observer after graduating from Harvard. A true power couple, right?
The way I look at it is that it's all about accomplishing the objective.
Now let's rewind a bit and talk about how this dynamic duo first got together, because their love story is a pretty sweet one. Ivanka and Jared were both 25 when they were set up by friends for what was supposed to be a business lunch to talk real estate.
When we started dating, I told her that if I wasn't so attracted to her, she'd just be my best friend. And
little did their friends know, they'd end up hitting it off in a whole different way. Ivanka told Vogue in 2015, "They very innocently set us up thinking that our only interest in one another would be transactional." She laughed about it, saying, "Whenever we see them, we're like, the best deal we ever made."
So we're very, very proud of that.
Now, before they got engaged, Ivanka made a huge change in her life for love. She converted from Presbyterian to Judaism. Since Jared comes from an Orthodox Jewish family, Ivanka really took her conversion to heart. It wasn't just a formality for her. It was a meaningful commitment that reflected her deep feelings for Jared.
It's one of his acts of love. He brings me coffee every morning in bed while I read the newspapers. And
in an interview with Vogue, Ivanka opened up about how she and Jared are pretty observant when it comes to their faith. They keep kosher and follow the Sabbath, which means no tech from Friday night to Saturday night. Wow, a true digital detox. Ivanka called her conversion to Judaism a very intimate thing for us and said it was such a great life decision. She's found the perfect balance between being modern and traditional, and for her, Judaism has given their family an amazing blueprint for staying connected. Clearly, it was a decision that means a lot to her.
Track record of supporting and advocating for Jewish people and for Israel is unimpeachable.
The couple made it official on October 25, 2009, with a big wedding at the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. And of course, Ivanka wore a stunning Vera Wang gown. Oh, what a glamorous event. The guest list included her dad, Donald Trump, and even Regis Philbin, who performed at the reception. Classy, right? A few years later, they started building their family. Their first child, Arabella Rose, was born on July 17, 2011. Then, on October 14, 2013, they welcomed their son, Joseph Frederick. Their youngest son, Theodore James, arrived on March 27, 2016. It's safe to say they've got their hands full.
And it's really fun as a parent to watch them interact with each other.
Ivanka has been open about her experience with motherhood and how she's learned to go with the flow.
With Arabella, I was very nervous, as any first-time mom is, about dropping her, about everything. About will she ever sleep through the night.
Sound familiar to any parents out there? By the time Joseph and Theodore came along, though, she said she had relaxed a lot more.
With Theodore, I'm much more relaxed because I realize this really special moment is so fleeting. So I'm much more present when I'm with him.
When her dad took office in 2017, Ivanka packed up the family and moved to D.C. to support his administration. Both she and Jared stepped into senior advisor roles, even hitting the campaign trail with Donald in 2016 and speaking at the Republican National Convention.
How could somebody successfully win the presidency who had never been engaged in politics? And my father did that, and Jared was instrumental in helping his campaign succeed.
It was a wild ride, but once it wrapped up, they headed for a quieter life in Surfside, Florida, a little town just south of Miami with only 6,000 people, perfect for keeping things low-key.
It's just life. It's just life.
According to a friend of Jared's who spoke to People in April 2022, they're really just settling into normal life and really enjoying it. Ivanka has picked up some new hobbies like surfing, golfing, and tennis. Meanwhile, Jared has been focused on a new entrepreneurial venture.
We were always involved in each other's business and knew what was going on, but working together has given me an even greater appreciation for just how effective she is.
But the best part? They're finally spending more time with their kids.
And I am very vehemently against family separation.
The friend explained, Jared's spending a lot more time with his family because over the last 4 years that was something neither of them could do as much as they wanted to. Jared has even said, the nice thing about Miami is the moment you stop working, you're on vacation. Sounds pretty sweet, right?
I am driven, first and foremost, by my kids and their happiness. So that's always going to be my top priority. And
as for their relationship with Donald, well, it's definitely changed since their days in the White House. According to the same source, they only visit Mar-a-Lago, Donald's Florida home, every few weeks. It's definitely less than in their time in the White House, where they would see him every single day. It seems like they're enjoying this new chapter of their lives, focusing more on family and less on politics.
And you have to figure out how to move all the pieces to make it the life you want to live.
Despite their retreat from the political scene, the couple hasn't entirely escaped the headlines. In February 2023, both Ivanka and Jared were subpoenaed as part of a federal investigation into the January 6th Capitol riots. They had already been questioned by a House committee about that day, which later recommended charges against Donald. but it seems like they're doing their best to move on from that chapter and focus on their life in Florida.
I am not focused on politics. I'm focused on our business.
All in all, it seems like Ivanka and Jared are fully embracing the quieter life, far away from the nonstop hustle of DC politics.
So Theo, what are we doing now?
Finishing the puzzle.
How long have we worked on this for?
3 days, 4 days.
We put a lot of time in?
Yes.
Have we had fun?
Yes.
How does that feel?
Good.
How do we do?
Good.
Wait, let's do the handshake.
They've swapped out campaign rallies for quality family time, and honestly, after the chaos of the last few years, who could blame them? But what do you think? Was it the right move for them to step back from politics and focus on family life? Let us know.